make a move and the bunny gets it.
I said, put the bunny back in the box. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box? It's your
Why doesn't the hero reveal himself and tell us your true name? You do have a name. My name is Gladiator. How dare you show your back to me? Slave, you remove your helmet and tell me your name. My name is Fun My Comic, and I represent all the campaigns you shadow banned and kicked off your website. Huh? Creators that just wanted to fund, that wanted to be left alone. And we will build a website that is going to bury you all. Oh crap.
Psychically, I'm very well endowed.
I want to know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I want to know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the show. Thursday night. This is the Gen X Files. Pop culture from the point of view of the generation for which it was created. Generation X. Anyway, so tonight, I've already got my warnings. I've already had several people who are like, oh my God, you're going to get in trouble. But that is part of what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? Now, anytime anybody makes any kind of like comment about Ripple or CG or whatever, you know, everybody wants you to like claim one side or the other. Sorry. Everybody, I'm getting spam calls like crazy. Everybody is right now. I don't know what the heck's going on. Anyway, so everybody wants you to declare one way or another, and tonight I am probably gonna make a declaration, but we'll find out what it is. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do tonight. Hold on a second. Where's the beard? Dude, I did a video on Sunday. I happened to have a mishap dyeing my beard and wound up having to shave the whole thing. So it is growing back. It's just in a fuzzy state right now. Anyway, so now the one thing that happens anytime anybody makes any kind of criticism, or anybody makes a statement that has to do with the big guys. Hold on a second. Oh my gosh, you can't miss a video on this channel. No, you cannot. You cannot. That's why you have to stay subscribed. Anyway. By the way, like and subscribe if you haven't. But one reason, one thing that they like to do is they like to, especially if you make any kind of critique whatsoever of any of these creators that were in the mainstream, or have any kind of back reputation or anything like that, you get to be, well, who are you to make any kind of, to comment on anything having to do with them? You're not good enough, or you don't have any kind of prestige. You don't, you weren't in the mainstream, you don't have like, comic books on the shelves of every comic book shop, So in other words, i.e., you can't make any kind of criticism whatsoever of any of these luminaries, okay? And it's the same with Ripa, how dare you comment on Ripa or whatever? Look at how much he's accomplished, or look how big his operation is. Look how many he's sold. And so the comment, that happens on the other side too. But so I'm going to give you my bona fides. See, I'm currently moving right now. And so you're going to help me move my CG books. This isn't all of them, but this is the ones that I don't read as often. All righty. So y'all ready to go? Okay. Now, once upon a time, this book, Vestige, belonged to a group that was within CG called War Campaign. They are no longer. But I got both of the first books. Okay. This book is called Crusaders. Pretty cool little book there. More of a children's book. I got a Soul Tack. I thought I had all these packed. I guess I must have missed one. That's my friend Mad Ruth. Got a Unconditional Shove. That is my friend Odin Dasco. Really good series by Broken Compass Comics. I guess those are going to be a collector's item because Broken Compass, I think, is broken up now. Got Smokes the Fox. Got so many of these. I backed it multiple times. Not even sure why. And I bought it every time because, he put on the pout face, and I can't stand the Belmont's pout face. I got this. See? This is the Return of the Warrior. This is the hardcover. But I got multiple things with She. That's back when I was pretty much supporting anything the professionals put out. I no longer do so. I'll explain why in just a little bit. Why would that not slide down? Come on, come on. There we go. I don't want to dent it. I don't want to dent it. Okay. All right. My couple copies of Battle Brick Road. I've got 2 already sent over there. One of my favorite books I've ever gotten. Company Man, red, white, and blue. This is Fowler, retro graphic books. He's showed back up a little bit. I'm hoping he gets back to it because I like this series. I got this one from Mark Polton. I decided to give Mark Polton one more chance and prove to have the same issues that everything else did for Mark Polton. In other words, I'm not a fan. I'm just not. Wolfsbane, there you go. My friend Aaron Jordan. All right. Got the Bancroft poster. 4 days, 3 nights. This is by Micah Curtis. Right there. Used to consider himself part of CG. He does no comic. Blood Honey. One of my copies. And I even got the old Forgettable Tales. And all those. This is a book called Havoc. I got that one. That was Darren Kobold. I got Creed. Okay, that was Nuga. Sorry, everybody. I know that he's a sacred cow that you're not allowed to speak ill of, but that book sucked. It's one of the worst written books I've ever gotten. It had plot holes you could drive a transfer truck through. Okay. Another step, Florida Man. There you go. That is Mike Barron. Another Creed. One of the other ones. This series here, Replicator. He just started. He disappeared for a while. This is Rob Arnold. Also, he hangs out with Bancroft. He's kind of used to have a mohawk, I think. These are. He never really pushes the story along. This is like the 3rd book, and it never went anywhere. And I just decided I'm not going to back him anymore because it's a jip after a while. Cobalt, I like him. Lost Pages. This is the myth of the Lost Pages. These are the Zaid brothers. Good guys. But I don't really like their writing. I just don't. This is Impossible Stars. This is from Richard C. Meyer. Not actually, Chuck Dixon supposedly wrote that, but that was so Richard C. Meyer's writing that I seriously doubt Chuck Dixon did anything but come in on the back end of it. Okay, this is Soul Finder, one of 3 I have. The first book was good. First book was solid, but the next 2 were bad. And plus, Doug Ernst has gotten such a problematic character. I just don't like the way he operates. And so I made the decision not to buy any more Soul Finders. He was sending me night letters, and I didn't bite on them, but evidently he was sending some to a comic book hut, and he did. So he was trying to use me as a proxy to go after EVS, and I didn't go for it. But evidently, he did with some other people that did, and it came back to bite him on the butt. But even though he did show me some things that turned out to be true and changed my opinions about some things, the fact that he operates that way just turned me off, especially since he's supposed to be, Mr. Christian Catholic or whatever. So yeah, I stopped backing anything Doug Ernst. One more stack, and then alrighty. So this is the Wrath of God. This is the second book that I got. Now this one I had a problem with because this one he shoehorned into other stories to try to kind of launch his universe. I hate it when that happens. The same thing happened with this book here. The second vestige, the one this is the first vestige, but the second vestige, they did the same thing where they try to shoehorn stuff in at the end to kind of like launch a universe or whatever. This is Sunsworn. This is the comic. I got the novelation too. This one here, I never could make through. The Seventh Legion. I just couldn't make it through it. I don't know what it was about the writing, but I just my brain could not figure it out. But so this is my friend Anthony Figueroa. Yeah, Anthony Figueroa. This is but it's another Cobalt, weaponized werewolf. Jawbreakers. The last final Jawbreakers I'll ever get. Anything from Richard C. Meyer. Not going to get anything further. This is an interesting one. Doc Alpha. I waited forever for that book, and when I finally got it, it needed editing like mad. It was really hard to read. And this book, I'm not going to show it to you because that guy, I don't know, he doesn't need me to kick him while he's down. But that's just one stack. I took a whole bunch already over there to the other place. And this is taking these over this weekend. But I basically wanted to make a point. So who am I to make any statements about CG? I'm a customer, a long-time customer. I bought everything. I'm not that well by any stretch of the imagination. So I bought this with hard-earned money, earned from working night shift for over a decade, nearly 2 decades. And so I'm also trying to support my own comic book, and so I haven't been able to back anybody in months. I just haven't been able to, and there's some dear friends of mine I really want to back right now. I just can't do it. But once I get moved into the new place, there are some financial things that are going to change that may help me to start being able to afford things again. But either way, losing my friend Craig, it's just doesn't matter what benefit I'm going to get from it. That's always going to be too high a price to pay for me. I want him here, and he never can be again. So it is what it is. That's where I'm at. Anyway, so back to the subject at hand. So who am I? I'm a customer. Not only a customer, but at one point I bought everything. Didn't matter how obscure they were. I got 2 comics over there that Malin's wife put out. Maria Ciccarelli or something like that. Yeah, the Reaper, Grim Reaper 1 and 2. I bought them. Not very well written. As a matter of fact, majority of what I got was not well written, which is why this channel exists. I heard these narratives from these ex-pros, that writing, anybody can write. We don't need writers. We can write our own stuff, which is true. You can write your own stuff. However, by saying that anybody can write without training, which is what was implied, without training, without hours behind a word processor, without failures in storytelling and learning how to fix those issues, without landing the plane of a written work successfully. These people a lot of books I've gotten, the writing is amateurish at best. It's like that Inglorious Rex book. I kid you not. I mean, I went through it with somebody else the other day. They're completely independent of me. And they were kind of hiding the fact that they didn't like Inglorious Rex either. And they asked me, is like, what's the worst book you've read in this, and of course I put Snowman and Inglorious Rex, especially from the guys who have like what's up, Wrangler or Hell and stuff, dude. You might want to steer clear of me today. I might wind up on Trash Cast. Anyway, but so the thing is that both of those are from ex-pro who are on the CG Kings. Incredible artist. Nobody can. I mean, that Snowman book was beautiful, and the Inglorious Rex is jaw dropping. I mean, both of those guys are extraordinarily talented artists, but both of them were rudimentary on the storytelling. I mean, and both of them had holes big enough to drive a transfer truck through, and both of them could have been saved by having any kind of editing whatsoever. And so that was the problem. That's the reason why I started this channel, was to try to convince people of the validity of writing, that writing still is important, even though the way the Image kind of like pulled, the way DC and Marvel reacted after Image pulled out and started like making writers like rock stars, and making the artists like slave away in obscurity, moving them from project to project. And all these men in CG Kings got that treatment. And so they're all hostile towards writers. And looking at the writers that are in the mainstream right now, I get it. I mean, I absolutely get it. People like Kelly Sue DeConnick, Gail Simone. I mean, come on. And I mean, the whole new crop. There's a whole new crop. That's the older generation. That's the ones that really started during the purge. But the people they brought in, the DEI hires, are even worse. I mean, wow. I haven't even picked up a book in years, but people like will post clips every once in a while, or post pages that they've seen. Like Thinking Critical will post pages from time to time, and I'm like, wow. Not following mainstream comics is not a bad idea. I'm sorry, that's a double negative. I just spoke a double negative. What a writer I am. Not following the mainstream is a good idea. That takes care of the double negative. There you go. See, I do have some writing skills. All right. Anyway, so this is where I come in. I did a video. This is me about 2-3 years ago. I think it was about 3 years ago, maybe even later than that. But around this time, I did a review of. See, do I have this handy? Hold on. I don't. But it was the Expendables Goes to Hell, the book that Richard C. Meyer flubbed, screwed up the marketing on, showed no interest in pushing. The book should have been easy 6 figures. I mean, easy 6 figures. It should have been pushing 5 figures. I mean, 7 figures. If it had been promoted correctly, and it never was. But I did a review of that. But basically, the book was good. But then I critiqued Zach's stupidity, and I wound up being EFAP'd by EVS. This is before the Trash Cast days. But I wound up my critique wound up being on his show, and I made a negative statement about that. I thought that he was up his own butt, and he kind of did a little self-deprecation. Maybe I'm up my own butt, But I felt like I was being painted as an enemy, so I made another expecting me to kind of react in a negative way. But I just reacted like, I don't hate you, man. I'm a CG guy, more power to you. But during the course of that time, this channel got its first 100 because of that. Now over 6, so upwards and onwards or whatever. But I did a video because there was a lot of negativity towards CG at the time, and here I was working 3rd shift. I was wore out. I was way overweight at that time, and this was me. I should not have been on camera because I was not in any shape, but I did say some things that I think are pertinent. I'm not going to play the whole clip, but I need you to see where my heart is. And so what I talk about this, CG in general, I want you to see, I need you to see where I'm coming from. So here you go. Ignore the really bad lighting, mic placement, pretty much everything. This is really early on. I don't think I'd hit my first 100 yet, but here you go.
That's the dream. And I believe in it. And all these people calling CG-ists and phobes and Nazis and, sexist monsters. And it's hard to take sometimes. Because these are my people. They mean a lot. And seeing them succeed is like I'm succeeding too, I mean, there's a lot of people that have lost a little bit of that dream because they see these creators come in with funds and resources that we can't touch, and these massive campaigns one after another that a lot of us can't even fund anymore because we're trying to create our own, And they say, well, they point to these people are like, these are CG. These people are CG. No. They are not CG. They are members of CG, but they are not CG. CG is us. All of us. From the guy struggling to make $5,000 in a campaign, all the way up to the massive $1 million campaigns that put up 6 campaigns in 1 year. Even those guys, we're all part of the same ecosystem, even though they tend to suck a lot of the oxygen.
So, all right. So basically, I lost about half the people that were watching, but it is what it is. So it sounds like I'm going to be bashing like CG or whatever today. But basically the question I was asking is that does this still matter to me? Does the CG still matter to me? Well, that's a complicated answer. So I'm going to get into it right now. Now, I played a clip of a commercial I made for FMC, Fund My Comic. And Fund My Comic has is a, if you don't know, is a crowdfund website that was created from within the structure of CG by someone who supported CG. His name Luke Stone. And my friend Todd, who just hasn't been around a lot lately, but Todd helped him get with some financing. And he put his money where his mouth was. Before that point, we were seeing crowdfunding getting more and more and more sinister. And people were having their campaigns taken down. Zach, your boy Zach, or whatever you want to call him, Richard C. Meyer. He had his campaign taken down. Malin was his artist at that time. And they all found a place in IGG, Indiegogo. Well, Indiegogo suddenly got a CEO who came out of the corporation world. And right after that, some really shady shit started happening. People started getting shadow banned. And my friend Pixel Trader discovered an algorithm that they were using to deboost people. And then, of course, Shane Davis ran to Indiegogo and demanded answers. And suddenly that algorithm went away. But anyway, thank you, Shane, as usual. But the thing about it is, though, is we were seeing that happen, and Kickstarter always was a little bit on the censorious side. The Private American from Mike Barron got censored off of that. Got censored off. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and a place called Crowdfunder. I think there's another place they got banned off of. But this was happening. And so Luke decided to put his money where his mouth is and created Fund My Comic. And here we are, nearly 3 years on. Well over $1 million raised for people. There has not been any hacking done to it, which a lot of people were afraid of. They're afraid of the security not being strong enough. Me touting the security of FMC is how I ran afoul of Eric July and got canceled. But the truth just remains that Fund My Comic has corporate boxes, corporate maintained boxes, which makes it more secure than a fly-by-night website should be. Well, they've never gotten hacked yet. Fingers crossed. It's still possible. But so this web security is there. The money has been transacted successfully. The customer services there, people contact Comicsgate, they get an actual answer. And I mean, what a novel idea, right? Talking to an actual human, interacting with an actual human, getting your needs met, getting questions answered. Well, and then, but once Fund My Comic got off the ground, once it was secure, once it went past its first anniversary, and showed that it was not fly by night, it was not half-assed, that it was indeed a stable platform. It was it was able to handle transactions, and Luke had been a man of his word. He had held up to several cancellation attempts. One from even outside, where a teacher did a trans allegory comic book. It was comparing the transing of education to the Scopes monkey trial. It was actually really good comparison. And he got canceled off of Alpha Kickstarter. And right when he went to get his money, they canceled him. Somebody got butt hurt, and boom. And he was able to get on Fund My Comic. And when he got on Fund My Comic, it got announced to the world. I think it was Fox News or Newsmax did an interview with this guy. And he mentioned that it was on Fund My Comic. And so Fund My Comic got its first boost. But it also got its first negative attention. And people came for Luke. And Luke... Luke ain't gonna flinch. He's just not. But Fund My Comic got established. It got stable. It funds well, and it's starting to develop a community that reaches out to both the Iron Age people and to CG and to fans of Rippa. Fans and people who support Rippa. And they're all three of those groups are on Fund My Comic, including people that aren't even part of any of it. They're on Fund My Comic. And some classic comic book companies that are on shelves in comic book, like Silverline, Arrow Comics, and Alterna, all started funding around with Fund My Comic, started funding projects there. And yet... this is where my, shall we say, apathy towards CG began. Now, I'm big fans of the Professionals. I watched the show every time it came on. I respect all those guys. They're about the only former mainstream pros that whose books I still back. And yet these gentlemen who I respect, and I talked to one of them, and I was like, why aren't you using Fund My Comic? You guys were saying that we need a website like this. You've been promising to build one. Shane Davis built one, but then, after a few attempts to let people on it with him, he closed it back up because he didn't like the customer service aspect of it. His words, not mine. But so basically, it was like you can go on Indiegogo, and they knew shadow banning was going on. People were having trouble with their getting their money out, and I don't know if that's fixed with the new people that bought it. I don't know. But Kickstarter was still, every once in a while they would turn heel, and they would ban people just out of the blue, and it just seemed to be a randomness to it, But we knew for a fact that Indiegogo had people that were actually putting the finger on CG campaigns to the trust and safety at Indiegogo, because these people bragged about it. So we know it happens. And, they're not quiet about it. Well, so with that environment and Fund My Comic setting over here, free speech alternative that is clearly clearly stable and clearly like following their edicts, and the customer service was there that these guys were all complaining about. They did not have customer service anymore. It did not have representatives. They had nobody they could talk to, and Kickstarter's never had anybody like that. And yet, you have this group over here, the Fund My Comic, is running at a lower rate, so less money out of your pocket. And it was proven when Cecil went over there to have $85,000 campaign. It's still growing. He may yet hit six figures. But the man I talked to, you would know the name. He's one of the CG Kings, somebody I respected, and up to that point supported every book that he put out. He told me he's not going to use Fund My Comic until he sees a six-figure campaign. After all these promises that they made of building a service for everybody, even the lower guys or the smaller guys, where they could all be together, we could all do this thing together, kumbaya. And yet Fund My Comic has existed for 3 years. And EVS put one campaign on there a couple of months back, about 2 months ago, maybe 3 now. And it was a second chance toy car campaign. And Fund My Comic got all the haters. Everybody that's obsessively stalking EVS went after Fund My Comic. And Fund My Comic held up. Fund My Comic told them where to go, like they always do. So they've proven themselves over and over and over again. And so it seems like it would be a great home for CG, because CG was all about counterculture, all about fighting the culture war, all about telling these uppity mainstream pros who have taken over the industry and run it into the ground where to go. It seems like putting your crowdfunding on a website that was built by one of you and is friendly towards all of you, even people on the other side of things, even people that hate CG with every breath and tweet about it all the time. They can put their campaign on CG or on Fund My Comic, right beside a CG people, and nobody's gonna bat an eye. JDA, once got another cancellation, showed up at Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic put him on. And not only did they go after JDA, they went after Stripe, the payment processor, and they tried to sick Games Workshop from Warhammer on Fund My Comic. That happened. And yet Fund My Comic stood strong, didn't blink, and it's solid as a rock, as always. Luke Stone, solid as a rock. There you go. And so the question remains, they've proven themselves. They've showed that they have the backbone. They showed that they have the morality. And they've showed that they can handle bigger campaigns. And they're cheaper. Plus, they don't have a built-in tip like IGG does. So your customers don't have to set all your tips to 0 when they come over there. Don't you like your customers? Don't you want to keep your customers from getting cheated? Because Fund My Comic is completely voluntary. You have to check a box and put an amount in. And it's pretty much run off of those tips. And so the question remains, why? Why are you not using this service? What is the hang up? Is it because he's not an ex-pro? Is it because he's an indie guy? It's because he's not part of the CG Kings. Is that why? And so, I love CG people. I love people who identify with CG. I love people who love Rippa. I am friends with people who consider themselves Iron Age. And so, well, you can't do that. You've got to pick a side. No, I do not. I don't have to pick a side. And I have chosen not to do so. The side I'm picking is FMC. I'm choosing FMC. Why? Because this is the way forward. And if you guys decide to EFAP me, decide to do a trash cast and put me on here, hi, hello, hey guys. Why aren't you over there? I mean, EVS did a car campaign over there, a cartoon, or his second chance car campaign, which it was brought up over and over and over again. He hasn't fulfilled the first one because the cars were made in China, I think, and it is what it is. But they tried to cancel FMC, didn't work. So, question remains. It's Wrangler is CG, Comicsgate. That's what I'm talking about. So, CG, no problem. It's not really important for you to know. It's really not important for you to know. Not anymore. So, does it still matter to me? The people of CG matter to me. I count them, a lot of them among my friends. 7 of 9. I respect the hell out of that guy. The dude spent all summer, getting flexible, building up muscle, and wound up doing a backflip on his birthday. A standing backflip at 60. Yeah, he did have a spotter, but people who can do it standing have spotters because you can land right on your head if you don't watch it. But he did a standing backflip on his birthday. So I respect the hell out of that guy, okay? And he's a hell of a promoter. Does wacky stuff all the time. He loves Cecil, man. He loves his Cecil. And, I mean, he's not the only one. But people that I really respect, like Eric Ninoltowski, they're trying to cancel Eric Ninoltowski because he had a falling out with Rob Liefeld, or the fact that Rob Liefeld held a contest. But then when Ninoltowski, who won the contest, wanted to know when his book was going to be on the cover of Youngblood, or when his cover was going to be on the Youngblood book, Rob Liefeld's like, LOL. And so Eric had a problem with it. And because of that, suddenly I find out that Malin is comparing his work, is saying that Eric is somehow not as good as a mainstream pro. Are you kidding me? Have you seen Shadow Sentry? I have. I bought every Shadow Sentry that's on the market, every cover. Why? Because he's just that damn good. And oh, by the way, his books are better written than yours because you use Mark Polton. And I'm not a fan of Mark Polton. I'm sorry. The guy can't he can't write characters. He just, all the books that I've read, and I've read 5 or 6 of his books, none of them had a compelling character in them. I just heard you. I know some of the CG guys are pretty cool. Yeah, I know a lot of CG guys. I don't identify as CG anymore, but I'm not anti-CG. I'm not. I just don't identify as CG. And I don't identify as Rippaverse. I don't have a Rippaverse book. I have yet to see any Rippaverse books that interest me. None of the concepts interest me. Even with Chuck Dixon and my man Mike Barron writing for him, I just have not seen a book yet that I found compelling. And so I just haven't backed him. Doesn't mean it won't in the future. I don't have any like morality involved with me backing or not backing, but I'm not backing a lot of mainstream pros. As a matter of fact, I think right now, Aaron Lopresti is the only one I've backed. I mean, I didn't back R.T. Bear's latest book, and I usually back everything Art does. I just haven't had the money, but it is what it is. You have to pick and choose. But that doesn't mean that I'm anti anybody. I'm not. I'm pro FMC. FMC is who I pledge my allegiance to if I have to pledge allegiance. I'm an FMC guy. Fund my comic. Because this is how we go forward, man. Being fractional, deciding who wins and who loses, fighting the culture war. The culture war's over. We won. Look at the numbers. Culture war's over. We won. I mean, yeah, they're still over here firing shots from behind their, rickety walls, but we won. Okay. So it's time to stop being fractional. It's time to stop fighting other people's battles. If this person doesn't like this person, it's time to start looking at the quality of the books. If we were looking at quality of the books, Genuine Comics would be the biggest seller. Or Shadow Sentry. Or Stump. Or Shadow Punk, who is the best book I've ever read. Shadow Punk. And he did a 9-minute movie to launch that comic. And that dude did not barely crack 4 figures. Why? Anyway, I had some people suggest put my books on FMC, so I guess they do prose novels too. Yeah, they've hosted prose novels on FMC. Yeah, they have. Just check them out. Send Luke Stone Studios a DM. Get some information. But all I'm saying is, the people of CG matter to me. The whatever movement that CG was or is not doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't watch any of those. I don't watch anybody's shows. I don't back anybody's books anymore. Mainly because I'm trying to, boost my own. If you want to see mine, it's a sample is in the chat. The link is also in the description. The sampler of the book to be coming out later this year. But bottom line, though, this is not me saying, I'm anti-CG. I'm not anti-CG. I leave open the doors. I will embrace anybody that wants to be embraced. One of my biggest heroes, writing wise, is Vaughn Sturve Rise Again. And the Frippa people hate him. But Monster MD is one of my favorite books. And I also got Death, what is it? What is that one? Death from Below, I think it is called. But it's the Executioner book that he put out. Hey, peeps, what's up, Edwin? What's up, dude? But the bottom line to me is this is not me like declaring that I'm not CG. I haven't been associating myself with CG in a long time. I just quietly stopped. I'm not hostile towards them. I'm not, I just don't identify with whatever they're doing right now. As a matter of fact, I couldn't tell you what they're doing right now, what they are or are not doing. And it's just apathy, basically, on my part. because I've got bigger fish to fry. Whatever Ripa's doing, I have no idea. I see the books coming out, and they don't blow my hair back, so I don't buy them. I don't back them. Some Ironverse friends of mine, some of them that are hostile towards CG, openly hostile towards CG. They're still my friends. I don't have any problem with anybody. It's not my fight. It's not my battle. I've got bigger fish to fry. Right now, my focus is FMC. My focus is that middle ground, building something for the future. And that's going to take everybody. And so whatever CG was, Chrysalis stage, a vehicle for the to get us through the culture war. Whatever the organization was, it's now pretty much a fan group with a very small group of people that are focused on. I mean, I think Shane went over 6 figures in his latest book, so they're not slowing down, I guess. I mean, they are slowing down, but I mean, they're not making the money that they were. But I love people. I love these people. CG, you heard my voice. You heard me get cracked up because these are my people. But I am focused on FMC. I'm focused on building the future. I'm focused on that middle ground. I'm focused on building bridges. And right now, people are just still firing shots at each other. And it's unnecessary. If we get organized, if we get this in the rails, if we start collaborating again, then we're going to bury the mainstream. And the place where that's going to happen is FMC. And so to CG people that are still holding out, the CG Kings, the professionals, I mean, I think Billy Tucci's working on a campaign on FMC right now. The Tucci, the legend, the teen sensation. And so Cecil's already over there to handle the Cecil campaign. Kelsey Shannon, before he disappeared, he had a campaign on there that did well. I mean, we're handling bigger creators all the time right now. So why not give us a first run? Why not give us an exclusive campaign? See what happens. You want that 6-figure campaign? Then bring it over. And we'll have one. That's what you want. But the bottom line is we need to build bridges. That's what I'm focusing on. Because CG is no longer a bridge like it was before, like I believed it was. And so FMC is. FMC has become what I always thought CG was. And so that's why I pledge my allegiance to FMC. I help them every time I get a chance. I retweet everything that they tweet. And I believe if we're going to go forward, that's the vehicle. And I'm hopping aboard. Anyway, I truly don't understand. Hold on a second. Since it pops up. Come on, StreamYards. Show the dang. Okay. Let me get the comment up here. 1 second. There it is. Truly don't understand animosity between the two groups. I get some personalities won't gel, but I don't see why it had to turn into opposing factions. It didn't. It didn't really. I guess some folks just ain't happy without a public drama. I guess not. But I don't consider it my fight. I've stopped speculating. When you got people like Bancroft, Michael Bancroft putting out the Lucent. Thought I had it handy. But when you got people like Michael Bancroft putting out the Lucent, when you got Dave Brink putting Genuine Comics putting out Perfect 10 and the universe that he's building over there, when you got Eric Ninotowski putting out Shadow Sentry is every bit as jaw dropping as anything Image ever put out. You know, Rob Liefeld's an idiot. I'm sorry, he's an idiot. You know, he should be paying Eric Minoltowski to be on his stuff. But I got people like Shadowpunk, a guy who spent 3 years parsing 3D graphics to create a 3D animated 9-minute 3D animated movie. And I know I keep bringing it up, but it blows my mind every time. And the comic that he dropped was jaw-dropping. The best comic I've ever gotten. And when you add that movie in, it's even more incredible. So why aren't we pushing guys like him? His second book's coming out in October. So I'm just saying, you don't have to support, you know, people that have X Pro by their name. We've got some incredible creators out here. And all those men that I mentioned put campaigns on FMC. Well, except for Shadowpunk. I don't know where he puts his campaigns, but he does his own thing. I have no idea what that dude's doing anymore. I really have no idea. Used to come on my shows, used to talk to me, used to respond to me, but I guess he's up his own ass these days. I have no idea. But anyway, I still support you, buddy. I still support you, Matt. That's still the baddest ass comic I've ever gotten. So anyway, so that's just me. You know, as for you, if you want to follow CG, that's not a deal breaker. I'll still be your friend. You can still be mine. You know, if they allow you to. I don't think they always do. But you know, if Rippaverse ever puts anything out that I like, I'll probably back it. I just haven't seen anything yet. I just haven't. Ironverse people, you know, I'm friends with them. You know, John's Lone Box, who, you know, he's not happy with CG these days. But, you know, Heroic Tales is a hell of a book. Von Coleman, I think he's kind of gotten canceled a little bit. But Phenomenova, awesome book. We just got all these books coming out. They're just top notch, top drawer. You know, I don't have to be paying attention to the big guys at CG anymore. I just don't. I don't have to. So I'm not. And if that causes me cancellation, it causes me cancellation. I've been canceled before. I'm still here. Once you stare into the abyss stares into you. If you don't blink, you learn not to fear it. Follow the white rabbit. See you next time.